Greetings and welcome to week 10. This week we're going to focus on nuclear proliferation, and we're going to look at the development of nuclear weapons through the different theoretical lenses that we studied in the first half of the course. The creation of nuclear weapons at the end of World War II changed the way that the international system worked. The consequences for war became much greater, and the question, though, that we're going to deal with this week is this. Counterintuitively, some believe that nuclear weapons actually make the world a safer place. That's the question. Do nuclear weapons make the international system a more safe, more secure place? You will have that for your journal number 10 question, and you can approach that in many different ways. As I said before, some will argue, yes, nuclear weapons make war too costly, and therefore different countries will not engage in war because there is a possibility of it going nuclear, and the consequences of a nuclear war are too high. But others, as we know, will argue for a bunch of different things. It's not nuclear weapons, it is complex interdependence, or it is collective security, or it is the United Nations. There could be many reasons, but the fact is that since the Second World War, which was the most destructive and devastating war in the history of the world, there has not been a general war of that size anywhere in the world. There have been big wars, and don't get me wrong, this is not saying that the world is an absolutely peaceful place, but the kind of wars that we had in World War I and World War II have not happened. So, what's the reason for that? Some would argue the balance of power, and nothing's really changed. Or has it? That's your question for the week. As we wrestle with that question, we're going to focus on Russia. It makes sense because after World War II, there were two dominant nuclear powers, the United States and the Soviet Union. In 1991, the Soviet Union disintegrated, and the largest piece of the puzzle that was the Soviet Union, it was Russia. And Russia has the majority of nuclear weapons in the world that are outside of the United States. So that is what we're going to look at. And we're going to focus on Russia in the sense that after the disintegration of the Soviet Union, Russia was a fairly big mess. And the move to democracy was an arduous one, and it was a hard time for Moscow. But since in the last decade, let's say, Russia has had a resurgence, and their influence in the international scene and in the international system has increased greatly. They've started exerting influence over their near abroad, over the countries that now are free states but used to be part of the Soviet Union. They're re-exerting their influence there. They are playing a major role in energy supply around the world, particularly to Western Europe. And they're making their voices heard in international institutions. There's no doubt that Russia has once again become a great power. What does that mean? So, two things we're going to focus on. One, nuclear proliferation and the importance of the nuclear weapon in the international system, and then Russia. The final piece of the puzzle will be the quiz on geography of Western Europe. There are 22 countries that you are going to be assessed on, and that will happen at the end of the week. Good work for the first half of the class. Good work getting your analysis of President Obama's speech in last week, and I look forward to working with you as we engage in the second half of the course. Have a good day, and I will see you online. Take care.